Right, well, here we are, all set for Friday night 9 ball. We've got a full house, we've got 16 in, and we are just waiting the brackets going up, and the brackets are up, and we can have a look and see who's got who. We've got Tin playing CTP, Black Jagged playing DJ Redo, Larry playing One Pocket Slim. Well, that's a match we're going to be watching, tell you that straight away. Potman versus Simanx, LS3 against Christian, Phoenix against Semi Pro, whatever that one is, Magiki or whatever it is, against Spectre Dawn, and Seni against Miasma. So, quick summary: race to 7 on the winner's side, race to, is it 4 on the one loss side. It's handicapped, it's multiple money ball. We're waiting on the handicaps going up. Good evening, welcome. That should refresh in a minute. Let me just change this to 30 seconds. So the match we're going to be watching is going to be One Pocket Slim against Larry, two potential winners of the tournament, and well, that won't change. Those brackets won't change as far as handicaps go until the actual tournament starts. So that should be any second now. Quick reminder that this tournament will be on probably a lot longer than I will. I can stream a couple of hours and a little bit more, and that's about it, and then I have to go to bed. The usual working week, up at 4 AM tomorrow morning, and the tournament, if it goes like a normal full Friday night tournament, it'll go over 4 hours. There's no doubt about that. Right, so the rooms are up, and the match we're going to be watching is Larry and One Pocket Slim, and Slim is in the room and Larry's sitting there in the lobby. So we'll get in and we'll get ready for the lag. I'll better change the colour of that cloth before it annoys people. So we've got the lag for the break. So this is a scratch match, no handicap. And I think Slim's won it. Good evening. Right, let me just oops, hang on a minute, wrong button. Miscellaneous, put it to blue. Right, so we're in the beach house with the hard times table for this week's tournament. Let me just check my little doodle's working. It's working fine. So in the first rack, 2 ball isolated down at the bottom of the table here. Slim misses the kick out on the 1 ball, so Larry's going to have ball in hand. Simple enough starter, but he's going to have to look for a way just to break out that 6 ball, and he can certainly do that off the 4, but the problem with that is he doesn't guarantee himself good position on the 5 if he does that. Now, what animations is that? Oh, no, that's gone. Forget that, because I haven't got... remember, there's 2 versions of XSplit. There's XSplit broadcaster, which is the one that is like OBS. It's got the full functions on it. It allows you to add different sources in it. XSplit Gamecaster is a much more simplified streaming program, and it doesn't have that facility. So I lost all of those anyway when I had to do a reinstall on my PC a while back. But XSplit Broadcaster is good, but it's only just to give you more tricks and stuff. Broadcaster doesn't have what I like though. It doesn't have this, and it make it easy to use in Broadcaster. So that's why I like using Gamecaster. Much more simplified. So anyway, everything's out in the open now. And well, Larry's gone a wee bit square, but he should avoid the 8 ball. And he doesn't want to go dead straight on the 8. He's got a very slight angle, so he can just drop through it. I'll have a quick drink if I can find my bottle. So Larry gets off the mark. And that is dry. And well, Slim is on the 1, but we can see where his problem lies here. 2 ball is there, and he's the wrong angle on the 1. Now, he can try loads of inside English, but he's probably better taking a risk of trying to get round the table and avoid the traffic, but I think that's nigh on impossible as well. I think he's got the wrong angle. No, he's a very slight. I thought he was a lot more, but it was always going to be difficult to try and get on that 2 ball. But he has got a cut. And it needs to keep running for that 3 into the corner. And now, does he try and drop behind the 4? Let's have a look at what shot he's got here. Now, if he draws this side, he's going to be trying to play a long combo in the 5. He can go forward and try and get into the space here. I think he's maybe gone too far. He's going to hook himself. That was unlucky. He had the right idea. He was trying to find the gap there. Anywhere in this gap, and he had the shot in the 4 and he was on the 5. Just overshot it. Well, if the cue ball keeps running and doesn't scratch, he's probably got Larry in trouble. And I think he might have. Let's see. Yes, he does. Now, Larry can feather the edge of that 4, but he can't do anything with it. So he's really got to just hit and hope here that he gets it safe. Well, I didn't think he could get that. He must have just bent that round to make the angle. That was an excellent shot. He certainly could not see enough of that to pot it. Now, can he take advantage of that? And it'll all hinge on getting on this 6 ball. That was a very good shot by Larry there. I should have stayed behind it to actually see the shot. And he might be just okay. I don't think that's too bad. What's the angle like? Well, the cue ball wants to go that way, so he can either go all the way or he can just leave a longer shot in the 7. Try to draw to the, or stun it. Well, that'll do. Thought he had to maybe draw it to the rail, so that's even better. Well, this is a bonus for Larry. Slim thought he had, and I thought he'd Larry in a lot of trouble there, but Larry managed to squirm his way out of it. Played an excellent little spin shot, and he's took advantage, and he's now 2-0. I think Larry's come up dry again. Well, this time we've got the 4 ball pretty much locked up on that 9. Now that can be made into a combo. I think there's a gap. There's a gap there, so the combo can be made on the 9. And it's all about just cutting that 4 ball just to that side of the 9 so that you push it down into the pocket. Unless you get some movement on those 2 balls. Now Slim could move the 9 and the 4 on this shot with a lot of right hand English, but the problem is he's thinning that cut far too thin into the right middle, so he's going to take it into the corner, and I think he's gone too far. He might go forward. He can go forward, but that makes the shot a lot more difficult here. And when he plays this, he'll be playing it with right hand inside English to come in and kick into the 9. You see, he had much too much angle, so in that case, he's decided on the combo, and we know what he needs to do. He needs to cut that 4 to the right to make that angle on the 9. And you can't hit this too hard if he's going to give it the best chance of going in the pocket. And he's played it well. And so Slim gets himself on the board. And we're into rack number 4. And I don't think anything's going here either by the looks of it. Well, that 7 ball has just reduced Larry's chances of running out here, because that was a wide open pocket bar that 7 ball rolling in front of the 2 there. Everything else is on. So now Larry's got a bit of a problem straight away here in trying to get down onto that 2. Well, he's trying to drop down the right hand side. Well, he can still pot the 2, but he can't avoid the 7, and this is where he takes a bit of a risk here, because you're only hoping that the cue ball stays somewhere in the table to have a shot in the 3. And if he tries to avoid the 7, he's more likely to scratch in the corner. Well, you see, he's run into the 7, and that was always on the cards. He took the risk, and there was no way to avoid taking that risk. But there was always a likelihood he was going to scratch, either directly or, in this case, off the 7 ball. So it's a bonus here for One Pocket Slim if you can take the chance. Ball in hand, no problems in the table. Well, it's going to be the problem of getting from the 6 and getting good on that 7 ball. And he's left that short, and this is not good. There's 2 ways you can go about this. You can play it the simplest way, and that's just to cut the 6 and across the table and out, but you've got to get really good position on the 7 that way. Or he can try, well, he's trying to do it, and I think that's a pretty damn good effort. Yeah, he could have went up to the left with left-hand English, but there's a danger of scratching, but he's played at the first option, and that's given him the best chance of running out this rack to square the match. Well, now he's got plenty of room. So, I think we say this every week, you don't want to fall on the short side of the 9. If you underhit it and you finish up here by the middle pockets, at least you're giving yourself a chance. And that's a wee bit short. This makes the shot a lot more difficult. He wanted to be somewhere up by the middle pocket at best, and that is fell short of the mark, so it does make this shot a lot more harder than what it normally would be. But he's got it nice, and we're all square. And into rack number 5. I don't think we've seen a ball in the break yet. We've seen 5 breaks, and I don't think a ball's gone down. Now, we have got spot money and rack money on. Good evening. Welcome to the stream. Now, the more important thing is rack money brings the whole diamond of balls further towards us as we look. So it makes the break slightly different. But it certainly isn't working for balls in the break in this match. Absolutely nothing gone down. And Larry, well, he's on the 2. And the 3 will go past that 9, no problem. So Larry looks as if he's just going for the straight run out. Going to roll the 4 down into this pocket here. Is he trying to get in behind it for the 9? Well, that's went wrong. That was really bad. I thought he was just going to drop behind it and go for the run out, but he tried to get in behind it for the combo, and he committed the cardinal sin by running into the 4. And, well, he's really got lucky. I don't know what one he fluked there. Was it the 7? He fluked something and didn't scratch, but now he's got himself hooked on the 4. Well, I think he can just clip a very thin edge of that 4 ball. And he's played that well. He's played it well because the bank isn't on now either. The 5 ball is blocking the bank on the 4. Now I wonder if Slim can try and get tucked in behind that 9, because if he doesn't, then Slim's sending this 4 ball down this direction, and he's trying to just tuck the cue ball in behind that 9. And if he falls short, Larry's going to have a shot on the 4. Well, he's trying to use the 8, and that's a very good shot. Let's have a look. That is excellent. And now Larry, well, the jump is easy enough. That's not the issue. It's getting the 4 ball safe. And he's trying to bank into the corner. Made a pretty good effort at it. It hasn't gone in. And now Slim, well, he can go with this with a little bit of confidence here in terms of the 9 ball being a bit of cover if it doesn't go in. But he's still got to remember he's got to get that 5. Well, he's used the whole pocket and more. and that's worked out perfect because he's now dropped in reasonable shape on that 5. It's a thin cut, but if he plays it with enough pace, he can either come out off a couple of rails or just across, and it needs to slow up. Well, he can pinch a little angle on the 7 and come out and across for this 8. And as straight as he can would be ideal, and that is pretty much ideal. Simple roll through. So Slim has won 3 in a row, or he's about to. Now leads by 3 racks to 2, and we're still, I'm pretty certain, looking for a ball in the break in this match. Well, there's the 4 ball finally gone. And, well, nothing on for Slim. He's calling the push out. Well, not a very good push out, has to be said, especially with the 8 ball down here over the corner pocket. No prizes for guessing what Larry's going to do here. And that's the problem. Easy enough to play the combo, but where was the 1 ball going to end up? It's ended up dead on the bottom rail, so Larry's heading to the long grass. Well, I wonder if Slim will be tempted with the bank, because that 5 ball is cutting off some of the pocket, but it's also a good guide for helping that 1 ball in. But he's not interested. Needs to get the cover though, and he hasn't. But he's got the second prize because he's now nudged the 6 safe next to the 2, and the 7's a blocker for the other corner pocket, so there's work to do up that top end of the table. There's a cue ball. Oh, that little nudge off the jaws actually worked out nice there for Larry. But now there's going to be a bit of cat and mouse here. And now the 9 is tied up. Good evening. Welcome. Well, there's an angle now for Slim. The biggest problem here is the distance he has to travel, but let's have a look from behind. Now, the shot I would play would be with top right inside English. You can pot the 1, cue ball can go that way off the rail and come down. I don't think he put anything on it. He's now scratched. But Larry's got ball in hand with not an awful lot of options. other than trying to lock the cue ball up behind a 6. Well, that wasn't exactly a great shot, I don't think. Now, can he see enough of that? No, I think he can certainly see an edge on the 2 ball. And that's going to... Oh, if it finishes the other side of the 5. I don't think it has, though. No, it will squeeze in. Well, the news this week is, the Shooters Pool news is that they've had a major update, and they've had a tactical change as far as how their game runs. It was running in the browser, and it still is at the moment, but it won't be for much longer. You now have, with the new update, you now have 2 shortcuts on your desktop, like you do with Virtual Pool 4, if you've got online and offline, that is. And when you want to start the game, you hit your shortcut on the desktop, and Shooters Pool now loads as a game rather than a browser. A link to the game. A link to what game? I don't have a link anyway. I can't do that while I'm streaming. And among the other changes in Shooters this week, they've had a physics change. They've also added the option for people to test the compression on the rails. That is an option. It's not in the game. You have to mess about with the exe file or something to choose that as your experimental version of the game. They've also brought out some new tables, new sponsored branded tables and cues, and lo and behold, the thing I've been calling for 7 years in Virtual Pool 4, they've got a number of shafts with a black wood, which I have been crying out for years. So you've got a whole stack of cues now and a whole stack of tables. Some nicer looking venues than what this game's got, and yet it's still got less people than Virtual Pool 4. Because I think a lot of people don't like the way it views if they've played Virtual Pool 4. That's my biggest gripe about it. But anyway, Slim has pinched that one, and he's now got a 4-2 lead. What link are you looking for, Ron? Hit me with a link back to the game. I finally got a computer again. Are you talking about VP4 or what? Well, I like the black cue shaft. I had one in Virtual Pool 3, and it helps me see the tip of the cue better on the cue ball. A link to Virtual Pool 4. Just Google Virtual Pool 4, and it will bring up the Celeris website, and then you can log in as normal. And then of course you'll have to when you log into Virtual Pool 4, you click the downloads button at the top of the screen, and that'll allow you to choose the download for the online. There's a result come through there, and well, Black Jagged must be on the wine, because Black Jagged has lost 7-0 to GJ Redo. Boris is probably on his second bottle at the moment. And meanwhile, back in this match, we've got One Pocket Slim with a 2-rack lead in this race to 7. And, well, Larry might try and tuck the cue ball in behind the 3 and 4 here. He's spinning it that direction. Needs a good one. And that is not a bad effort. Now, of course, Slim's not only got the problem of trying to hit the 1, but he certainly doesn't want to be messing about with the 3 and 4. He doesn't want to be rolling balls and splitting that 3 and 4 up, because that's his lifeline right now. Well, he's got the kick on the 1, and he's left it open. So now Larry has a chance, but that 3 and 4 could be the stumbling block for Larry. At least that's what Slim's hoping for. And now Larry has played that very nicely indeed. Now, can he squeeze enough angle, or can he stun across into that 3 and 4, or can he get behind it and try and pot the 3? We're about to find out. Well, I think Larry either wants to bank this, or he thinks he can thin cut it. I think it's the bank. And he's played that one well. So now it's about finding the gap. He's got the angle, and he needs to come around either that way or that way and get on that 5 into the middle. It looks simple enough to do, but it's about judging the pace. Well, he's went for the stun. Is he gone far enough? Oh, he's just got there and no more. Could have ran it round. Was comfortable with the angle that he could stun across. Had to get it far enough. And he's used the 7 as a stopper as well. So it's important that Larry follows this through and gets this rack put away. So this to get back within 1, and there's another result come through, and Seni has beaten Miasma 7 racks to 3. Run out Rob it is. It's run out Rob. That's who it is. Right, so Larry's got one back, just trailing by 1. But wouldn't you know, he's come up dry again. Slim trying to run up the table, but he's run into the 7. Now, does that 2 pass the 6? Well, we can see it does. So it's just about finding a way to get on it. Now, the 2's the problem ball, because everything else is sitting there for the taking for Larry, if he can get good on it. And there's a result through as well. Oh, 1 ball wipes at his feet, but it's gone in, and Larry's nice on the 2. And Popman has beaten Sibank 7 racks to 2. Oh, I think he's gone too straight here. Well, no, he's got a slight angle. What did I say? Have I said it again? Oh no, I don't know why, but I keep thinking when I look at the tab and I see the name Simanx, I always think that's the loser for some stupid reason. I don't know why. Yeah, I stand corrected. Simanx won 7 racks to 2. And meanwhile, Larry marches on here, trying to get back on level terms. Well, now it looks simple. You roll the 6 in, roll the 7 down the rail, roll the 8 in, and then roll the 9 in. This couldn't be any easier. Even I could run these out. Right, let's see if we can get this one right. Another result from the first round. LS3 has beaten Christian by 7 racks to 3. And this match is now tied up. 4 racks all. And another result in. A final rack decider. The multiple money ball handicap and working there. Majiki, I think that's how I'll pronounce it, or Magic One, has beaten Spectre Dawn 7 racks to 6, so there's going to be some tough opposition moving through to the one loss side, considering somebody from this match is going to be disappearing over there. And that cue ball locked up in the 1. And now Slim's got the same problem Larry had when he was playing the combo. Where's this 2 ball going to end up? It can end up along the bottom rail and he'll have no shot. He needs a bit of luck here. To make the potting angle in the 6, that's what you're going to have to do. Well, he's hit it hard enough to try and get it out. So he'd 7 and out. That's 3 balls. Meanwhile, One Pocket Slim has got another dilemma. Well, I don't know whether he played to pot that 2. He may well have played the safety. And the 2's gone in. Considering where he's ended up on the 3 ball, I think he's more likely have actually played the safety there. Another good safety is required here, unless he wants to get really ambitious. Well, he's gone all out for it. And he's going to have to go all out now. Because he's a fair distance to travel to get anywhere near the 5, and clipping the 7 hasn't helped. So it could be a thin cut or it could be a bank. But this is going to have to be good to get on that 7. So this is not a gimme. And he's gone for the bank. And now Larry has what looks like a good option of a double bank here on the left hand side of the table. If he misses it down the first time, he'll get it up past the 9 the second time. That looks odds on. But he could easily hook himself on that 7. And he's not even interested in it. He's looking for cover. And this is the shot that he hopes will yield him a shot in this 5. If Slim can't get to it, or can't keep it safe. Oh, cue ball's going to scratch. So Larry did the right thing. And he's got his reward. And from trailing 4-2, Larry's got every chance of going back into the lead here. Just spin that cue ball around to the left. and far enough up the table for a decent shot in the 7. Yeah, that was a good result for Magic 1. So there may well have been the odd mistake by Spectre Dawn, and that's why the Moneyball handicapping does work. If the more experienced or the higher rated player starts make mistakes, it's going to be costly for them. And Larry on the 9, this for 5-4. Now this is, well, right now it's looking like it's possibly going all the way, this match. Larry breaking off in rack number 10, and Larry cannot buy a ball in the break, I don't think. Absolutely nada. And now we can see that Slim may well be enticed into taking this cut on the 1. It's not frozen in the rail, but look at where the 3 ball is. It's sitting hidden in there. Another result through. And Phoenix, who would have been getting a fair decent handicap as well against Semi-Pro. And Phoenix has won that match 7-5. So now we've got yet another favourite for the tournament through to the 1 loss side. So there's going to be some battles over that side of the tournament tonight. And meanwhile, Slim has followed through and scratched, and he's given Larry another chance with ball in hand. I think Larry's not gone far enough in the 4. Yeah, he's going to have to maybe just, well, he looks as if he's drawn. See, he's left himself the high angle on the 5, but if he had gotten the right angle, he could have dropped in behind it. So now the cue ball's running around a little here. He needs to be careful with the pace. And he's dragged that cue ball and killed the pace on it to hold for the 6. Now let's look at the 8. Well, that is not in an ideal position. So this rack isn't over yet. And I think, well, he just wants to get down the bottom end of the table here. Anywhere down here, he's got a shot in the 8 into the middle or a cut. And that is perfect pace. Right on the nail. And he just drops the 8 into the middle. And it's a little roll in the 9. So Larry, from 4-2 down, is now going to have a 2-rack gap. And more importantly, he is now on the hill, needing 1 more and begging for a ball in the break. And it just ain't going to happen. That was a sort of dead break there. The balls didn't get much momentum in them. But Slim has got nothing other than looking for cover. Well, if Larry goes down past the 2, he's going to have to spin that with a lot of right English to straighten the cue ball. He's not got a line, a good line here to get to this, anywhere near this 1 ball. There's balls in the way. Now the question is, Well, he has done the right thing there from that point of view, that he didn't want to split the 5 and the 6. So he sacrificed ball in hand to Slim, who now has a choice of trying to 3-foul Larry or trying to get the run out. And this is good thinking by Larry, not splitting the 6 and 5. And Slim needed to get that pretty tight, and he has done. And Larry's trying the little mass 8, and he's got the hit, so he's now off any likelihood of a 3-foul. And now with an open shot in the 1, Slim has a choice, because he's going to have to deal with the 5 and 6. There's the result through. CTP has beaten Tin by 7 racks to 4. And this is an important rack, obviously, for Slim. He can't afford to lose it. And he's got to... Well, he's got a great chance of splitting that 5 and 6 if he can get to the 4 and get good on it. That's provided he can get anywhere near this 3 ball. Where's the cue ball going to end up? Well, he's now got the split, and that is extremely unlucky from the point of view that he hasn't rolled through far enough to get a potting angle on that 3. He can't get to the potting angle. He could try and play a bank on it, but the cue ball is in a high risk area of getting a double kiss. Is he trying to squeeze it round? No, he's going for the snooker. So now we've got an interesting situation. Larry hooked on the 3. And Larry has fluked to 3, and that has got to be painful for Slim, because not only did Larry fluke the 3, he's opened up the 4, and it's still not over yet. Larry's still got to get half decent on that 5, because the 6 ball's blocking it into that corner pocket, and Larry just needs to kill the cue ball here and get off the rail. Well, he wanted to get the 5 into the middle, asking himself to do an awful lot more, and he's hung up the 4. So here's Slim's lifeline, and he simply has to take it. He won't get another chance after this, I don't think. And a quick result through from the 1 loss side already. And Spectre Dawn has beaten Miasma 4 racks to 0. Slim has gone into no man's land here on this 5 ball. It goes into the middle. Now he needs to avoid hitting the 6. If he does that and he has enough pace, he can come around and out for the 6. And he was worried about hitting it, so he's drawn off it and stunned onto the rail. Oh, that almost went wrong, but he needed that to be it's a high angle. I don't know whether he can get enough pace off that to hold for this 8 ball. Or whether he wants to go full power and get up and down the table and back down for the 8. But it looks an awful lot to be able to hold for the 8 at that high an angle. Well, he tried to take it into the corner for that reason. A much, much more difficult shot. And Larry, well, I would think if Larry just goes all out for this 7, he's certainly going to be hitting the 8. And he'd be unlucky not to leave a shot on the 8. Is he playing the bank or is he playing the cut? If he plays the cut, he'll run into the 8. He's playing the bank to stun across. Well, this is one of these shots exactly where you can run out of shape on the 9. It's about judging the pace. That looks as if it's going to get there just. He's a wee bit square. It's a wee tester, but this for the match. This must be one of the last matches to come through from the first round. So Larry, from 4-2 down, has come back and has beaten One Pocket Slim by 7 racks to 4. Right, so we've got a whole stack of results come through. And let's see how the bracket shapes up. We've got CTP playing DJ Redo. We've got Larry about to play Simanx. And Simanx is getting 7 and out. LS3 is trailing by 2 racks to 1 against Phoenix. Magic 1, who sent Spectre Dawn over to the 1 loss side, is trailing by 3 racks to 1 against Senny, and that's a scratch match. Now, what's happening on the 1 loss side? We've got Spectre Dawn, who's won that match. Christian is getting 5 and out against Semi-Pro in the 1 loss side. Semi-Pro is 2 racks to 0 up. One Pocket Slim's about to play Potman, and Tin is playing Black Jagged. Well, let's nip in and have a look at this Semi-Pro match because, well, it's now 3-0 to Semi-Pro, but matches like this can turn very quickly. Nice little angle on the 5. Semi-Pro wants to stay the top side of this 7 ball as we look, so he can drop down for the 8. Well, I don't think that's ideal at that distance. This makes a shot a bit more difficult, but he's rolled it in no problem, and this match is all but over. And so, Semi-Pro, like Spectre Dawn, first match in the 1 loss side, he's won it comfortably 4 racks to 0. So let's have another look at the bracket. And we've got One Pocket Slim now off and running with Popman. Tin and Black Jagged. Black Jagged up 1-0 on the 1 loss side. That results through from Semi-Pro. And Spectre Dawn as well. So they're now waiting on results from the winner's side to come through. And DJ Reader's up 1-0 against CTP. Larry and Simanx are still in their first rack. LS3 2-all with Phoenix. And Magic 1 trailing 3-2 to Senny. Let's nip in and have a look at this match. So this is a scratch match, no handicap. We're in round 2 on the winner's side. And Magic 1 looking to square the match up here. Let's find out where he's from. Well, Senny's from Scotland, we know that. Magic 1 is from United States. And Tommy the Welder from Scotland as well. We've got 3 Scots in the room. There you go. That's enough for a pub crawl. So it is. Well, that kiss on to the 2 has knocked it into a reverse bank position. Into that left hand corner, or even a double bank if it comes to it. Well, if it's got the pace, it's got a chance, but I think it's just going to go to the rail. So this match, all square, 3 racks all, in the race to 7. Well, that's gone ugly. Well, we could have a blast at this. The old hit and hope. That needs to nudge into that 8 ball, and that's worked out very nicely for Senny, but he's still got an awful lot to do with this cue ball. Yeah, had to send it around the angles. He's going to fluke the 5, and he's got a half decent shot in the 6. Can he take advantage of that little bit of running? Oh, he's just gone a wee bit too far. He's left himself with more work to do in this 8 ball. Yeah. Just got himself a bit too far across the table. And that chance is gone. It's a chance for Magic 1. Not easy this 8 ball either. And that I don't think is going to get there. Well, he had to have the pace. He was worried about the cue ball scratching. If he had played that with enough pace to run off that top rail, he was really in danger of scratching the cue ball. But he didn't get enough pace in it. So Senny has a second bite at the cherry here. And this will take him into a 1 rack lead. 4 racks to 3. Into rack number 8. Well, those balls are broken nice enough, apart from the fact that the 4 and the 7 are tied up, but no ball on the break again in this match either. Well, nothing's set there as a combo, so I don't know what he's thinking of doing, punching this one ball around, but there's balls in the way. He's trying to hide the cue ball. Oh, and that's worked out very nicely. That was very well played. Locked the cue ball in behind that 7. Oh, it's really tight. Couldn't even get to the side rail. And he got the hit. And that's pretty safe as well. Apart from the bank, that is. Well, now we have a combo down the rail there at 4 and 7. And it looks fairly simple enough to get across to have a shot on it. Now I wonder if has he forgotten about the 4? No. Well, I would have tried to get closer to the rail, but he's got it anyway, but he's got no shot in the 4. If he'd got a straighter on that, he could have probably played in such a way not to let the 4 ball run away. So now he's going to hide, and he's played a good safety. That's a very good shot. Well, Senny looking to go. I think, I presume he tried to go 3 rails, and run into the 4 from the right hand side, but he's way off the mark. And so ball in hand for Magic 1. And trailing 4-3, he wants to get himself back in business here, but once again, playing this 5 at a long distance. Cue ball's got an awful lot of distance to travel. Had to get the pace in it. And he's fluked to 5 as well. But it's all very well getting the fluke. It's what you make from the fluke. He's still got to run out. And where he's sitting now is not an ideal situation. This is tough. Needs to watch the scratch in that left middle pocket if he's going to cut this into this bottom right hand corner. Well, he's well away from that, and that's a very good shot. So the 9 will tie the match up for Wraxall. And, well, I heard something going in. I don't know what it was. What was it? The 6 ball. 6 is gone. No real shot in the 1. He's gone for the... Well, I'm assuming he tried to play a safety, but he hasn't got there. Left a shot on for Senny. Well, he used the 9 ball very handily there to push off the 9 and around the angles onto the 2. And everything's on the open. It's always just about taking your time. And he doesn't want to put too much power into this. The 4 ball's out on the table. He just needs to get a sight on it, and I think that's pretty well played. That is ideal. Now this is dangerous, this 5 ball. I don't like the angle on it. If he digs down into this, well, he's got to get a nice kiss, and that's a bit of good fortune, because you could never guarantee the angle it was on it. He was always going to run into the 7 and had to get a little bit of luck. Well, this looks fairly straightforward. Just roll the 7 into the 8 in and roll the 9. So this has been well taken here by Senni to go back into the lead. Oh, that's the first yawn started. What time's that? 9:05. The old brain's on shutdown mode. Well, he's locked up behind the 2. The old hit and hope. And he'll take that every day of the week, as long as he doesn't scratch. Got the hit, and he's not left it anything easy. But Magic 1 managed to pick out the cut angle on that too. Now what does he do? Does he try and stun into that 9? Or does he try reverse banking the 3 over into the right middle? Well, he might have tried both, but neither of them have come off. And Senni does have a shot on this 3. Not easy. And he didn't get the connection in the 3. And so Magic 1 is going to get another chance here to tie this match back up. Now, can he just drop behind that 8 on the rail? And that's okay. But still needs to get a good angle. Any sort of angle on this 7. Well, he's made a right hash of that, because for some reason he's thought to hit it hard and stunned into the 8, hung up the 6. And if he'd potted the 6, he was left dead straight in the 7. There's a result through from the 1 loss side, and Potman has beaten One Pocket Slim by 4 racks to 2. And meanwhile, Senni is trying to open up a 2 rack gap here. Well, he's going to have to do this one the hard way. He would have been much better trying to get on the bottom side of this 9 as we look at it. Well, this is tough to hold it along the rail, but no messing about. Straight in. And now needs just 1 more rack to go through to round 3, I think it is. And the 4 and the 5 ball have both gone on the break. And that looks a good pace for the 2. But the 3 ball is in an awkward spot behind the 7 on the bottom right hand side there. There's not much margin at all to get anywhere near a shot on that, and he's tried to nudge into it. Didn't get there. And that was also well played. Using that 7 as a blocker. But there's a big enough gap to play the jump. Oh, went all out for the pot. So Senny has got his chance to win the match. Oh dear. Well, this is all simple, this. Just a little draw. Well, he would have been better getting that as straight as he can on that 8 ball. He doesn't want to let this cue ball squirt away. And he's let it go. And he's out of shape. And this is not perfect. And look what happens. He just get himself out of shape. He had a match in his hand. And he just went too much the wrong side of that 8 ball. Which meant the cue ball was running because it had too much angle. And he left himself way behind on that 9. And the angle was a dead set scratch. Could tell straight away looking at that. And so Magic 1 gets a lifeline, and he's trailing by 1, and he's at the table with a chance to take this all the way. Well, he's took his eye off the 2 ball there, trying to drop behind the 3, which he's managed to do, but he's forgot about the 2. And Senny with another chance to put this match to bed. And needs to bounce. Doesn't want to be right on the rail. Now he's got a little angle. He can help that angle slightly if he needs to get that cue ball over the right hand side. And he's put power into it when he didn't need to. He just needed to roll it down. Probably better running that in than actually stunning it in like that, which is always the reason why these balls are going to hang up. Well, Magic 1, he doesn't want to put it away. Well, that's a very, very thin cut. And very tough. And Senny has almost got away with it, I think. There's nothing easy here for Magic 1. Needs to get this very thin if he's going to try and keep distance. Well, that'll do it. Or will it? Oh, let's have a look. Has that just squeezed out far enough? No, it hasn't. Now, Senny can try and create the angle. Well, he's went for the bank. Well, this is probably going to be Magic 1's last opportunity in this rack to get himself all square. Well, he's taking his eye right off the ball there. And there's the result through from the 1 loss side. Black Jagged has beaten Tin by 4 racks to 1. Well, Magic 1 has thrown away a good chance there. And that might be his last chance. And Senny, with nothing to do with this 6 ball other than pot it and let the cue ball just run up like that. And he wants to keep this 8 ball as straight as he can. And that isn't bad either. Well, it's a bit straight, but as long as he draws it back, if he overhits it, he should be fine. And he's going to cut this into the middle, surely. And in it goes. And so, well, Magic One had his chance and blew it in that rack there. Missed a fairly simple 2 into the right middle. And Senny has taken his opportunity and he wins the match 7 racks to 5. So now the tournament's moving on at quite a pace. We've got matches still waiting to get set up on the one-loss side. Well, that bracket should update with that result that's just come through there. So we see Senny's moving through, waiting to play the winner of LS3 in Phoenix. We've got Larry is playing Simanx at the moment. Simanx with 7 and out and is leading 6 racks to 4. Let's have a look and see what happens here. And Larry at the table in the last chance saloon here in this match. He doesn't want this cue ball to run into that 7 ball in the left rail here. He wants to avoid that. And he's run into it. And he's now out of line. And this is by no means going to be a simple run out here for Larry. And with Simanx getting 7 and out, it could be a fatal error here by Larry. Always odds on he was going to run near that 7, but he's managed to pick out the 5. He's got a shot in the 6. And the result through from the winner's side, LS3 has beaten Phoenix by 7 racks to 4. Well, this is going to be tough for Larry because that 8 ball is very close to that rail, and that makes the shot much more difficult. Well, it's off the rail, it's not on it, but Larry's going to have to get a decent angle and have to use pace to get this cue ball up for the 9. Oh, that doesn't want to finish dead straight, and that is not good. And he's going to maybe try and squeeze an angle. Yeah. Well, this isn't a good bank. He's going to have to try and thin this. Let's have a look at that. He's going to have to thin it. It's off the rail and he's hit it too thick. Well, that cue ball bouncing like that has left nothing easy here. It's a good bank, cross bank into the middle for Simanx. He can try and drop it in dead weight or cut it. He's went for the cut and in it goes. And so now we've got a whole mess of sharks on that one loss side, and Larry's the latest to arrive. Simanx has won the match by 7 racks to 4, so now things are really interesting because you've got a fair few battles to come on this one in the one loss side, and that result has just sent Larry through, and Larry's going to be playing semi-pro, and that's the match we're going to be watching on the one loss side. Meanwhile, DJ Redo and Simanx are set up to play, and LS3 and Senny, their match is just underway in the winner's side. So over in the one loss side, we'll get in to the semi-pro Larry match. Semi-pro has won the lag, and it's a race to 4 only. And semi-pro has potted the 2 in the break. He's got a shot in the 1. He's most certainly got no shot in the 3 because it's tucked behind the 6. Oh, that's unlucky. Played a billiard. Well, I presume he played the billiard. Got the 3 ball, but the cue ball is scratched. And now Larry, well, he's got his troubles to deal with. We can see where the problem lies, down in this bottom right hand corner. That is a combo, the 7 and 8, if he gets that far, but when he's taking this 4, he's going to be moving that 7. Now, that 7 could interfere with his chances of getting on the 5. Well, it's actually helped. It's helped very nicely. And this is the important one. Finding the gap to get on that 6. Now, if he goes forward and off the top rail and side rail and down here somewhere, he's going to give himself the best chance. If he tries and get really accurate, he's going for the draw. You see, that's where he hasn't gone through with the shot in either way. He's hung up the 5, and I don't know whether he was trying to hold it for some sort of thin cut there. He'd have been better going forward at the bigger margin of error. And Semi-Pro has got as good as he can on the 6, but needs a fair bit of power here to get the cue ball moving. Well, Larry blew that chance there, I think. I don't know whether he was trying to just find a square cut down the rail on that 5 ball, rather than going forward and off the top and the left side railing coming down to the bottom, which would have given him the best chance of getting on it, other than trying to play a dead set shot. Good evening, welcome. We've got, well, 3 or 4 sharks on the 1-loss side, and this is a 1-loss side match with Semi-Pro and Larry. We've got a full tournament tonight, 16 in it. And Semi-Pro has won the first rack in this race to 4. And Larry very much blew his chances in that first rack there. He should have put it away. And now he's got an excellent chance, as long as that 2 ball just nudges the 4 in and doesn't run away. Plenty of room to get on the 3. He's gone dead straight again. He can only just go past that 9 ball and leave an angle if he can. He's going to be close to the rail though, that's the problem. Needs to keep going out, needs to keep going. That's not bad. Let's see what it looks like from this end. Well, I'd be going forward every time here. I don't like where the 9 ball is. I'd be going forward with inside English. That way you've got a big window to get into on this 8 ball. I don't like going that way because the 9 ball's just annoying where it is. He could stun it in and go around the rail that way. You know, he stunned it up and down. Has he got the pace right? Well, we'll give him a round of applause for that shot. That pace has worked out perfect. I still prefer on that shot going forward with a little bit of inside, because you know that you're always going to find the big gap. And Larry once again has got himself out of shape. He hasn't hit it hard enough. And it's got to be the thin cut. And this is not the way you want to be trying to win racks. Yeah, that is asking far too much. And it's a gift for semi-pro. See that shot that Larry had there, where the 8 ball was down there and the 9 ball was there. He played an up and down shot, which had to be very good, and he got on the 8, but it didn't give him great control. So that's why when I would have potted that ball with top and left English, and it sends the cue ball down into the gap. So you've got you know that you're going to have a much more open shot in the 8 ball. I don't know why he didn't do it. I mean, it was a good shot that he played, but it was always leaving himself a more likely opportunity of running out of shape, which he ended up doing. Good evening. Welcome aboard. Now, just a reminder for any of you latecomer guys, we've got a reasonably interesting tournament here. We've got 16 in it, and we've got a few of the favourites through on the one loss side, and this is one of the matches. And well, the handicapping has been throwing up a few shocks tonight, so there's nobody playing out of their skin. Semi-pro, well, they really should be all square just now. Larry's gifted him a rack when he had a stone wall chance of getting it back all square. But from what I've seen, I would put semi-pro as the favourite. He's looking to have reasonable touch here and found the pace. And remember, this is a one-loss side and it's only the race to 4, so if semi-pro can put away this rack, now he's gone too far. That's always a danger. That's exactly the point I keep making about going the short side of the 9 to the top rail, and you're leaving yourself in no man's land. And he's played that well. And so, well, Larry has got a mountain to climb and more. He's now 3-0 down. Semi-pro with the break. And the 6 ball has gone in. And that 5 ball has found a gap between the 1 and the cue ball. And semi-pro is looking down the barrel of a gun here on the 1. But look at where the 2 is. That's Larry's lifeline. And I don't know what semi-pro tried there. He tried to improve the situation, but he was never going to pot the 1 ball doing that. Now Larry has got the cover behind the 5. But the lay of these balls is not ideal. Even if Larry does get ball in hand, these are not sitting pretty. Well, that wasn't a bad effort there by semi-pro, looking to catch the edge of that 1. But it's now given Larry the ball in hand option. Now, he can pot the 1, he can pot the 2, and he can pot the 3. But he has to be in such a position where he knows he can get either down here on the 4, or he can leave a cut in the 4 from up here. So he's got 2 ways of getting to this 4. Now, the angle that he's got on the 3 there looks as if he's just going forward to leave the long cut on this 4. Or is he playing a big draw? And he's trying to spin it round, but that's not going to get there. I don't think, is it? Has he got lucky? No, he hasn't. Always going to have traffic in front of him. So he's now got the jump shot, and this might be his last shot. He's played it well, though. He's still hanging on and digging in. But Larry, from what we've seen so far, has done his best to get himself out of shape on a couple of occasions, and it's cost him. He's still okay. Potman has won by forfeit in his match with Phoenix. And Larry at least gets 1 on the board. Now, you remember what happened earlier in that rack. Semi-Pro was looking straight down the 1 ball. Okay, he was queuing over another ball, but he was odds on to pot the 1. Refused to play the pot, tried something else off the 1 ball. I don't know what he really tried, whether it was to try and improve the situation, but if he tried a pot in the 1, I don't know where he tried to pot it. And that's really what cost him, because it let Larry in. And Larry managed to get the job done. You don't want to. The one thing you don't want to start doing is trying taking liberties. You know, it's such a short race to 4. You just don't want to start taking liberties with the run of the balls, because it can all go against you very quickly. But Semi-Pro is at the table. He's got his chance. Well, I can't see where the problem's going to be here. I suppose you could say getting from the 8 to the 9. I don't know whether I finished that sentence earlier on. A reminder to anybody who's joined late and who's still watching the tournament. This is a working week for me, so regardless of where the tournament is, around about 10 o'clock or just after, I'll be pulling the plug and going to bed. And Semi-Pro has got plenty of pace in the cue ball, drops down onto the 9. And Semi-Pro is going to win the match by 4 racks to 1. Well, those errors that Larry made have cost him dearly. And Semi-Pro marches on. And let's see how things are shaping up now, because a lot of the action is going to get held up now by what's happening on the winner's side. Let's see that. We can hold this bloody bracket thing. We've got LS3 and Seni. That's a scratch match. And Seni's up by 4 racks to 1. Good evening, Keith. And DJ Redo 3-0 up against Simanx. Right, let's have a look over this side. See if there's anything else going. We've got Black Jagged and Magic 1. Now that's at 3-2. Let's drop into that one. So what do you think of shooters, Keith? They've got a lot of nice new cues. They've got the black cue shaft. They've got some nice new tables again. They've got hundreds of tables in that game. So they have. I'm feeling for you, Dizzle. And Magic 1 on the 8 ball. He can get out and he's left it short. It's going to be a cutback. Cue ball's going to be running. But this for the match. And he's scratched. Well, Black Jagged from that 7-0 thrashing that he got in the first round has now been given another lifeline here with ball in hand in the 9 to square the match at 3-all. I see that the update has well, that's a scratch to break there for Black Jagged. I see the update has an option of the did I read that right, where they've got the, what do you call it, they've got the cushion compression available, but you have to mess about with the exe file or something if you want it to, if you want to play that version. Well, Magic 1 has gone for the combo in the 9 and he's missed it, and Black Jagged here is getting goodness knows how many lifelines he's going to get. Yeah, I was saying that earlier on there. The game. I mean, I think the game looks an awful lot better than Virtual Pool 4. Especially the rooms look a wee bit nicer. The lighting's a bit dodgy in a couple of them. You know, that's a bit like Virtual Pool 4. The lighting's different in the different rooms. But I just cannot get myself used to the viewing angle on it. It's still too high for me, and I'm really shit at it. I haven't applied myself to it to play it often enough, because I get put off straight away by the fact that you're going into rooms to play games where people have got the aiming restriction on, and then there's others where it's off, and that's what I don't like. And Magic 1 has finally managed to get a combo on that 9 to put the match away, and he has beaten Black Jagged by 4 racks to 3. Yeah, it's just a pity there's not many playing it either, that game. It's got I mean, you'll get people, if they want to, can make their own tournaments and everything. And if they had that in here, I don't know whether it'd make a jot of difference, because I don't see an awful lot of tournaments getting made over that side. Right, so where are we getting in this tournament? Well, that results brought. Did I get that result right? Aye, I did. It's Magic 1 that's beaten Black Jagged by 4 racks to 3, and well, he's now through to play Potman. We've got semi-pro playing Spectre Dawn. And the winner's side, it's 4-3 to Senny against LS3. And DJ Redo's 3-1 up against Simanx. But again, we're going to see where the interesting match is in the one-loss side. Talking about Shooter's Pool, yeah. Yeah, I've already said to, what's his name, one of the brothers, and I said, you know, I said this a long while ago. I said, at some point you're going to have to drop this view restriction on or off, to give people choice. I don't like going into a room where the viewing angle is decided by somebody else. I don't like that. Oh, that's a fluke. And Spectre Dawn is very quickly up 2 racks to 0. Yeah, I hate going into a room and somebody's got, I mean, even with the aim restriction off, it's still a lot higher than what Virtual Pool 4 is. Now they say it's more realistic. Well, I mean, I can't string 2 balls together in that game, and that's what I hate about it. I'm desperate to buy one of the black shafts, but I'm not going to spend any money on it until they change things, which might be a long while away. But it still defies logic when they've got so many how many brands is it they're affiliated with now? About 5 or 6 different brands, recognised brands in the game of pool, and you know, they've only been around for 5 minutes, and Virtual Pool series has been around for 20 odd years, and yet Steve can't get anything really branded as far as tables go or anything like that. They've got Simonis cloth name, everything. It looks a much more polished game than what Virtual Pool 4 is. Now, Virtual Pool 4, you know, Virtual Pool series was the #1 game for years, and to me it's been caught up and it's going to get left behind. And he's doing bugger all about it, because I don't think he thinks he has to, as long as he's got the suckers that play in here every week. Well, it's like anything in life, you only get out of it whatever you put into it. And maybe he thinks he's put in enough money and he's not prepared to do anything else. Well, I think the Shooters Pool looks a far better game. A lot of people might say, oh, I don't like the physics as much, it doesn't play this and that, and the next thing, the aiming's this and that, which I don't like, but it looks a far better game, and a far more modern game than what this does. And he has to face that fact. But the one thing in the defence is the fact that there's less people playing Shooters Pool than there still is in Virtual Pool 4. Well, Semi-Pro's gone dead straight in this 8 ball, but he's going to have to tweak something here. Just rolling it in dead weight to leave himself the 9 across the middle there. So this to get on the board. Remember, it's only a race to 4 in this one loss side. Now, I think something went in there. Nope. Aye, the cue ball did. Oh well. Spectre on with ball in hand. And, well, there's just a couple of balls awkward because they're over in the rail, but, you know, apart from that, there doesn't seem to be a real issue here with getting a run out. Well, it's got to be forward and come up the left hand side of the table for this 5 ball. If he goes in the short side of it, he's playing it with a lot of inside, but he's playing it with left to go around the angles, but he's leaving himself a high cut, and this is where he's out of line because he doesn't have the ideal way of controlling the cue ball to have a shot in the 6. Getting over to the left hand rail would have been ideal to be able to play the combo. Now if that runs, and that's not bad. No, that's right. It always says like 40 people. I'll tell you why it does that. It does that because I think there are still a lot of people using the browser version of it. But once they kill that, once they kill the browser version of the game, you're going to have just the amount of people online that have actually loaded the game from the desktop shortcut. But yes, I've seen it saying like 40 people online, but there's actually only 12 in game. Oh, that kiss on the 9 hasn't helped. But this for 2 racks all. And in it goes. So semi-pro is back on level terms. What we're talking about, the option to put the line, well, even tracking lines and everything like that, but you talking about the aim restriction thing. Well, we know where the important shot lies here. Now, are you sure they're going to give you the option? Because see, if you go and load the web browser page right now, if you load the page to Shooter's Pool and you read the message on screen, it tells you that in the next updates, they're going to be getting rid of the browser version. And they're trying to encourage you to start the game from the shortcut. So at some point it would suggest that it's going to be killed, the way I read it. Or else they wouldn't have the pop-up message informing you of starting your game. But meanwhile, Semi-Pro is going to take the lead here from 2-0 down. Was it? I never read. I haven't read anything in the Shooter's Pool Facebook page for a while. So the 6 ball goes down. Now, what's he going to try here? Looking for cover. Well, there's not enough people. There's not enough people telling them to get rid of that aim restriction crap, because they're still keeping that in the game. They get rid of that, and I'd go and play there. Well, Semi-Pro has made a proper hash of that one. Oh, the mouse is getting blamed. Spectre Dawn using all of the pocket and using the 3 ball to help the 2 go in. But he's got no shot in the 3. So the reverse bank attempted. And that might be his last shot. If Semi-Pro can get good on the 4, it should be plain sailing after that. And there's the result through from the winner's side. And DJ Redo has beaten Simanx. Oh, he's overcut it. He caught that wrong. DJ Redo's beaten Simanx by 7 racks to 3. I mean, to be honest with you, Keith, this aim restriction thing, it shouldn't even be there as an option. It should be off altogether, so that it's down to the minimum you can get. I mean, in a real life table, if you're ever playing a pool or snooker, you can stick your chin on the bed of the table to look at the balls if you want to. And this game doesn't allow you to get anywhere near close to that. Anyway, I'm done moaning about it. That's simply why I don't play there. Or else I'd be there an awful lot more. Plus, they need to put Cowboy into the game. If they put Cowboy in it, I know 2 or 3 guys would be up for it. And that'll be VP4's loss. Not that it'll matter. Not that he'll be worried. But anyway, Spectre Dawn has got his chance to take this all the way. I mean, you've got 10-foot tables, 7-foot tables. You've got the 8-ball Chinese table, Chinese 8-ball table. You've got umpteen snooker tables. Goodness knows how many 9-ball tables. You've got cues coming out your ears if you want them. Shafts, different ball sets. What you're getting given is choice. And also, the other thing I still say is that the prices of cues and shafts and tables and everything is a heck of an awful lot more reasonable than what they ever have been in Virtual Pool 4. I mean, Steve's asking stupid prices for a cue. Ridiculous. In a game. I mean, you get told that 7 years when I heard that the most expensive cue in Virtual Pool 4 is like $30. What a load of crap that is. I think the most expensive cue in shooters pools like, what, about 3 or 4 euros if it is. Well, the cues and shafts are very, very, very well priced. So they are. Especially if you do compare them to what they are in Virtual Pool 4. They're extortionate in Virtual Pool 4. So they are compared to Shooter's Pool. That's right, you get a credit if you turn up and get into a game, I think. Yeah. That's another thing. That's another thing I told Steve. I said to Steve a long, long while ago. I said, and this was before Shooter's Pool was ever even around. I said, there's a lot of games where you get something for logging in each day. Wasn't interested in it. I mean, if you get gratis guys who get something where they log in each day, they're still building up a little bit of credit in their account. But he's just thinking of just giving stuff away rather than, he's thinking of it from the point of view that all he's doing is giving out and not taking anything in. Well, it's the other way around here. In here, he gives absolutely nothing out, and even in the free tournaments that they have, what's the point of having a gratis tournament, right? Where gratis players can play the tournament, and also we can play the tournament, but there's no bloody prize money in it. What is the point in having a gratis tournament so that gratis players can play in it, and they don't even top it up with some added funds? That's stupid. But again, that's another thing I was moaning about, so, if somebody wants to write that all down in an email, they can email them, because I'm by writing into them. I'm sick fed up. Yes, they do, yeah. Did they? I've yet to see one. I've never seen a tournament that was gratis with money in it. Unless he just started doing it. Anyway, Semi-Pro has his chance to win the match here. On the 8-ball, not ideal. Just not a perfectly comfortable angle, so he's trying to spin it around. And that's not a bad effort. That's going to give him a shot. No, no, I was talking about Virtual Pool 4. Gratis tournaments with no money. Or is he talking about... Oh, Keith, you're talking about gratis tournaments in VP in Shooters Pool with money in them, aye. Well, I can believe that. But certainly not in Virtual Pool 4. Anyway, Semi-Pro is battling on. And LS3 has beaten Seni 7 racks to 6 in the winner's side. Now, what was I going to do? I'm going to have a look at the bracket. No, I'm not, because I've hit the wrong button. Hang on a sec. That's what I'm going to do. Right, now, it's just nudging 10 o'clock here. What have we got in the one loss side? We've got Semi-Pro now playing Seni. And we've got Simanx waiting on the winner of Magic 1 and Popman. And on the winner's side, we've got DJ Redo about to play LS3. So I reckon the last match of the night is going to be this match on the one loss side. Yeah, on Shooters, I can believe that they actually put some money into the tournaments. But in Virtual Pool 4, you'll get absolutely nothing. Where's the incentive? First of all, there's no incentive to turn up in Virtual Pool 4 every day, like a lot of people do. You get nothing for it. And what's the incentive for a gratis player to play in a tournament? If only for the fact it's just to get to play in a tournament. He's getting nothing out of it. Absolutely nothing. Now, what's happened here? Right, I wouldn't start with that sort of stuff, Simanx, in a tournament. I would keep it stum. As if he doesn't, it needs to be dealt with. That's right, all you're going to do with that is spend it in other queues that you don't need. Trade in the one that you've got and then buy another one. You just have to fritter it away. Now, what's happened here? What have I missed here? What's happened? Right, I think let's have a look and see where we are now. We've got Popman lined up with Simanx, and Semi-Pro is already 1-0 up on Seni. Right, what time is that? That's just nudging 10 o'clock. Right, I think what we'll do is we'll go in and we'll watch this Popman Simanx match, if anything, just to see if Simanx is going to act like an arsehole in this match. Well, you can't give anyone any better advice than that. And Popman has disconnected abnormally. I think we've got fun and games happening here. Oh dear. Oh, he's back. Right, anyway. No, you didn't get that typed out quick enough. He's back in. I don't know whether he's actually back in proper though. Well, part of the problem is he's Scottish and he's probably pissed. It's Friday night, remember? No, I think Popman's rejoined too quickly here. Let's have a look. Now, this is what's called playing silly buggers. Something's gone amiss here. Oh, Popman's gone again. What he needs to do is get his PC restarted rather than, trying to rejoin too quickly, if it's allowing him to do it. But I don't think the server really knows that he's gone. Right, what's Popman saying? Let's get this bloody thing to what? Right. For Christ's sake. Is this going to type? I don't think it is. I'm trying to type something, nothing's working. Right. Well, I can't type anything new either, this bloody message. Anyway, if somebody can type something in the room, tell Simanx that he's hopefully restarting his PC, which should then clean him out so that he can join the room. No, the Q stick, I don't think he's restarting. Well, in fact, he's getting a black screen. Right. Right, that's showing on my screen that Popman has the ball. Right, and now I see the stick moving. And now it's disappeared. And now Popman's gone again. Right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave the room as well. I somehow don't think we're going to see much of this match. Right, let's try that. Now it shows Potman in the room. Now let's see if his cue stick's going to move. Right, I think we're under starter's orders now. It looks okay. Right, we are up and running now. Now these two going to act like bloody 5-year-old kids, are they? Immediately, Potman's well out of line here, but he doesn't really need to do anything other than pot the 3, because the 4 ball is very adjacent. Yeah, this is going to be the last match that I'm going to do, because that's gone with that delay. We're now after 5 minutes past 10, and I'm going to pull the plug after this match. Should be fairly simple to get on the 6 ball, plenty of room, and that looks as if it's going to leave a nice little angle just to get up the table onto that 7. Now this is just a simple stun shot, because the angle's there. All you do is pot the 6, maybe a little bit below the equator, but you don't want to be playing some sort of big fancy draw shot. You see, he's chickened out, and the reason he's done that is because he's not comfortable playing the right shot. When you're comfortable playing the right shot, you get down and play it. And he's just chickened right out there and not been through with any shot, and now he's out of line. And that's how you either run a rack or you don't run a rack. And well, he's got lucky. Simax will probably have a blast at this, but really Potman had such a big area just to manoeuvre the cue ball out for that ball, and did neither. And meanwhile, Simax has tried, I think, 3 shots in 1 there. Neither of them came off, but he's not left anything easy. And that 8 ball, it's off the rail. I never like to spend far too long looking at a shot like that. You pick the line, natural instinct, you pick the line and go for it. And he got reasonably good on the 8. And Simax is certainly not good on the 8, so this... Well, what am I thinking about? I forgot. I didn't even realise that Simax was getting a handicap. He's getting the 7 ball. And I never even paid any attention to the HUD there. I never noticed. So Simax is getting the 7 ball as his money ball, or his extra money ball. And that's giving him the first rack. And I think we've got the 3 and the 4 tied up in the left rail. So nothing doing there. It totally went out my head that there was even a handicap in this match. But then again, it's the old story, half my brain's shut down and half of my body's asleep and the rest of it wants to join it. That's not a bad shot. Easy enough to jump out of it, or even to kick off the side rail onto the one ball. But as long as that 3 and 4 remain tied up in the top left there, it's not a likely table that's going to be run out. Well, now Simanx, Potman, sorry, should have Simanx in trouble here. It's unlikely he's going to run out here, but so it's a lot easier to play a good safety. But it looks as if he's probably lining up the pot. You see, unless he can get good on that 2 to have a chance of moving the 3, then he's getting nothing from it. And now there is, I think he's a bit too straight on this 2. Yeah. Well, there's no chance of any combo there. So if he's going to try and just be cute and push that past the 3 and use the 4, he's played it well. Well, there isn't a problem in the table. The only problem now that Potman's got, and that I now remember that Simanx is getting a 7 ball, is that Potman can't afford mistakes at the business end of the rack. Needs to miss the 9. Oh, he's going to hook himself behind the 7, is he? No. Oh, let's have a look. Oh, he's just squeezed out, but he can only just kill this cue ball stone dead. Well, there's a surprise. Semi-Pro was looking as if he was going to go all the way in the tournament. And Senni has put paid to that. He's beaten Semi-Pro in a final rack decider, 4 racks to 3 on that one loss side. And meanwhile, Potman is high and dry on this 5. This is not easy, but the cue ball should be going over to the right hand side for a shot on that 6. Well, this is a reverse bank, or just a simple run to the long grass up at the top end of the table as we look. Now he's gone for the reverse, and if it misses the middle pocket, which it hasn't, he'd have been good on the 6. And remember, now that I do remember, Simanx only has to pot this 6 and get a shot in the 7 for a 2-0 lead. Oh, almost scratched. And certainly didn't play it in such a way that he was ever going to give himself a half-decent shot in the 7. When you're playing a shot, you've got to go for the right shot. And Potman, well, he won't have a better chance than this to get back into the match. Again, he's spending, to me, far too much time looking at a shot. You see, again, he's done all of that, and he hasn't gone through with the shot. He's just leaving himself out of line. These shots should, the amount of years you play the game, they should become instinctive just to get down and play it. Get that cue ball out. He's left it neither here nor there again in no man's land. And he's got the bank. He's still not out the woods yet. He's played it well. Got there in the end. But yeah, I've always said to Potman, I think he spends too much time on some shots, just thinking about them that bit too long. Sometimes the longer you think about a shot, the more problems you see that aren't actually there. But anyway, he's broke off in rack number 3. We're back all square at 1 rack all. The 3 ball has gone down. He's got a gentle 1-5 combo here. And that just dropped in, but that's ideal. Just leaves the 1 over the pocket. Now he has to get that cue ball moving right up the top of the table and avoid traffic to get there. Not easy. Oh no, never accuse him of rushing shots, but as I say, sometimes he spends too much. I always just get the feeling he's spending too much time thinking about what's going to go wrong, and you know, chickening out in some of the shots, not going right through with the shot. He's left himself a bit straight here. Let's have a look. Yeah, well, he doesn't want to overhit this. And that's not bad. Now, can he run in and nudge onto the 8? I think he can. If he runs through and nudges onto the 8, he can use the 8 as a stopper. He wants to hit this so that he runs into it if he can and get it moving just slightly. Let's have a look again, see if he can. I think he can. He might just glance off it, but he has to go through far enough to make that 6 ball easier. Oh, he's just skimmed it. He's hit it too thin. That's unlucky. Well, now he's got no choice. Got to go all out for that cut into the middle. Where's the cue ball going? Well, it's ended up tough. That's where it's ended up. So once again, a reminder, Simanx has the 7 ball as his extra money ball. He's blasted in the 6, and he's going to be going for a bank up and down the table here past that 8 ball. Or is he going for the cut? He's gone for the cut. And Potman has a chance here. See, I wouldn't even be looking at that 8 ball. Just a draw up the table, because you know that you're on the 8 anyway. You've already looked before you came to your shot. And you see where you are on the 8. And now this is just run off the left rail and across the right rail for the 9. So this will give Potman the lead in the short race to 4. And this is our last match of the night, folks. And I'm going to hit the sack right after this is finished. So it's now 2-1 to Potman. breaking off in rack number 4. Well, the balls, well, the spread not too bad, and now they've clustered together on the left-hand side. 2 balls in the open, but the 3, 4 and 9 are doing nothing. Simanx has had a blast, and all he's done is opened it up for Potman, because the 1 goes, the 2 goes, the 3's in the open, the 4's over the right middle. The 5's going to have a pocket in the bottom left once the 3 disappears, so this is Potman's chance. Now this is where he does have to just take his time. Well, this cue ball doesn't want to be going forward. If he draws back, he may well draw towards that 5 ball. He'd be unlucky to block himself out, but if he goes forward, he's more likely to cause problems. And, well, I think he's got lucky there. He's still got a shot in the 3. Admittedly, he's into a blind pocket. Well, I think he needs to cut that more. You need to cut that more. He's got it. And now the cue ball is out of line and it's running again. There's a danger of scratching off that 7 ball once he hits this 4. Well, he's nudged the 7 in, and that's actually done himself a favour, because that's got rid of Simanx's extra money ball, and now the table is at his mercy. So that's a bonus. Oh, that's going to have to get there. Oh dear. Well, that's a fatal mistake, that, by Potman. I mean, look at the 6 ball. And that cue ball had to run over to the right rail, and he's left it short of the pocket. And that is a fatal mistake, and the only lifeline he's got here is the fact that Simanx has to pot this 8 and a 9. And he's went right around the angles with the 8 ball, and Potman lives to fight another day in this rack. Oh, that's going to go safe, is it? Well, it's not safe from the point of view of the 8 ball being potted, but this cue ball's going to have to move. And Simanx, well, he's done absolutely nothing there. I mean, he could pot the 8, but he's prepared to leave the cue ball at that distance to have a go at the 9. And he's going to forfeit the rack for that reason. And that was a poor effort. No, the 8 isn't a money ball. The 7's a money ball for Simanx. It's not a 7 and out, it's just a 7 ball. Anyway, it's now 3-1 to Potman. And that was a nice little spin shot. Well, you see, I've got an excuse for making those type of mistakes. I'm half asleep. You'll notice that I make most of my mistakes late on at night. Well, late on for me is anything after 8:30. But that's when my brain isn't working 100%. What happened there? Oh, he scratched through the cue ball. That was unlucky. So, Potman, this for the match. Oops, wrong button. The 3-9 combo, and it'll be all over. And Simax, I mean, how unsportsman is that like? See, if you're watching this stream, you're a pussy. There you go. I mean, that you don't do that. You don't do that when you're playing in a tournament. I don't care who you are. You at least try and show your opponent some respect, because if that was in a pool hall, getting a smack in the mouth would be the result as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, let's have a final look at the bracket, folks. Potman moves through to play Senate on this one-loss side. LS3's already sitting there because he's just been sent through to that one-loss side by DJ Redo. And DJ Redo, well, I don't think he's had much problem getting there. He's won that match 7-2. And, well, he's now sitting in the hot seat, if I'm right in thinking. Yep, he's sitting in tonight's final. And he's going to have a bit of a wait because you've got the match between Potman and Senate. And then the winner of that is going to be playing LS3. So this tournament, and it's a race to 9 in the final. So the tournament's got at least another hour to go. And I am done, folks. So all I can say is thanks for your company, guys. And we will see you again soon. And I'm going to hit the sack. And I'll bid you good night.